Hey guys, I want to talk to my people who are already spiritually aware. You're emotionally intelligent, you've healed, you've done the work, and yet right now you feel more uncomfortable than you did before your awakening. What I'm about to share with you, it comes from ancient philosophy and from what it looks like to live it in real time. If you've been feeling uncomfortable, unsettled, or like your life no longer fits, then this message may be for you. And I want to say this up front. Awakening is not gentle, but it is purposeful. This message is for the version of you that knows that something is ending, even if you can't fully explain it yet. And what I'm about to share, I'm actively living. One of the biggest misunderstandings about awakening is that it's supposed to feel peaceful right away. Well, it's not. What you're experiencing right now, the friction, the unraveling, the pressure, that's not punishment. That's initiation. I have to stand up for this message because I feel it with my soul. In philosophical traditions, Hellenistic thought, Hermetic philosophy, transformation never begins with comfort. It begins with dissolution. There's a principle that says, without decay, there is no generation. Something must break down before something new can be born. And I know it sucks. Trust me, I know. And when we're inside of this breakdown, life does not feel poetic. It doesn't feel spiritual. It's inconvenient. It's disorienting. It feels like your old identity can no longer carry you. And that's fucking scary. But that's because it can't. Your old identity can no longer carry you. This is not your life falling apart. This is your former structure becoming insufficient for the life that you're now stepping into. And it shows up as relationships ending, long-term relationships ending, changing, careers losing meaning, or a version of you that used to survive no longer wanting to lead. And that matters. In ancient philosophy, in early alchemical thought, there's a stage, it's called putrefaction. Putrefaction. Am I saying that right? I don't know. It's the moment where something decays, not because it failed, but because it served its purpose. This stage is uncomfortable because it removes all of the illusions. You can't pretend anymore. You can't spiritually bypass. You can't positive think your way around it. And many people try on this journey. I'm guilty. They want to retreat. You want to hide. You want to escape into isolation or spirituality without engaging with the material world. But here is the truth: you cannot hide from fear during transformation. Avoidance delays your clarity. Engagement creates it. You must engage with the world and with your shadows to gain said clarity. There's no growth in avoidance. It happens when you put what you've learned to the test. So, everything you've been learning now in this moment of pause, what feels like stagnation, is not stagnation at all. I know that I'm attracting a collective to this channel that has been through some shit. You're not a beginner to this spiritual journey. You've learned some real tough lessons the hard way. And so I just don't want you to get hung up on this moment of space. Let's talk about the principle of polarity. light and dark, creation and destruction, expansion and contraction. Awakening is not choosing one of those over the other. It's actually learning how to hold both. This is what shadow work actually is. It's not erasing your darkness, it's integrating it. When you stop trying to outrun your shadows, you actually reclaim your power. You begin to understand yourself, your patterns, your reactions, your desires, and then something shifts. You start to move through life with more grace, with more strength, and less fear. And it's not because life suddenly became easier, but it's because you became steadier. Your feet are planted. Let that sink in. Healing is not a linear journey, it's rhythmic. Sometimes you may feel like you're taking 3 steps forward just to take 2 steps back. And that does not mean that you're failing, even though in the moment I know it feels like it, but it means that you are integrating. Creation and transformation move in waves. And when you understand that, you can stop judging yourself for needing rest, reflection, silence, for needing recalibration. This is how consciousness grows. It grows through cycles, not straight lines. So I know it's frustrating. We've been through awakening after awakening, and you're like, well, when does it just get good? But it gets good, and then it pulls back just a little bit just to get good again. And then there comes a moment in this process where inner work must meet outer action. Wisdom isn't meant to stay internal, it's meant to shape how you live. This is where manifestation becomes real, not a fantasy, but as alignment. There's a principle that says that the universe is mental, meaning your internal state shapes how you experience reality. And I know you know this already, but sometimes when we're grinding in the depths of the darkness, we forget momentarily. But when you shift your perception, your outer world reorganizes. Not because the world changed, but because you stopped meeting it from your outdated self. You stopped sending out mixed signals. Your frequency elevated with assurance, not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. This is the moment where you reclaim your power. Okay? Old attachments dissolve, they fall apart. Old roles gone. Old versions of you stop responding to life in the same way. This is where your authenticity returns. This is where you start to find you again that you lost so long ago. This is where you stop performing. You stop shrinking. You stop people pleasing. I'm guilty. Trust me. You stop overgiving. You begin standing in your clarity. Not loud, not aggressive. And I know I might come off a little aggressive in this video. It's just that I'm passionate. This is where you are rooted. This is where confidence becomes quiet but undeniable. And then the real exciting part is this is where you enter your calling. There's a moment, and you're probably standing in it right now, where your voice changes. Truth stops feeling optional. You no longer tolerate emotional confusion. You see clearly that that's not alignment. Alignment doesn't come with confusion. And this isn't about superiority or anything. This is about responsibility. When your awareness sharpens, you're called to live honestly. And that is not easy. It's not easy at all, but it is so freeing. And if you're here right now, if you're at this threshold, feeling like something is ending or like everything is ending without knowing what is beginning yet, I just want you to know that you're not lost. You're not doing anything wrong. You're in between worlds. And that space is sacred. This isn't collapse, it's convergence. You're not behind because you fell back a little bit. You're becoming. And if this message found you, trust that you are exactly right where you need to be. I want to close this by grounding everything that I've shared, because awakening isn't about floating above life. It's about returning into it, changed. Every initiation follows a pattern. There's a breaking down, there's shadow work, there's the dark night, and then there's rebirth. But the purpose was never suffering for its own sake. The purpose was balance. 222 on the clock right now to say that. Can't make this stuff up. What emerges on the other side of all of this, it's not chaos, it's clarity. You begin balancing your inner world with your outer life. As within, so without. Conjunction, the sacred marriage. I'm going to give you some homework. Look into that if you haven't already. This is where manifestation stops being forced. It's not because you're trying harder, but it's because you're walking in alignment. This is where the light bearer in you emerges. Not as someone superior or better than anyone else, but as someone who integrated, someone who has walked through their own darkness and no longer fears it. This is the return of your power. The part of you that gave too much, that overextended, that abandoned yourself in any way, it comes home. This is what the Phoenix Rising archetype feels like. It's not dramatic, it's not chaotic, it's authentic. This is divine initiation, not as a concept, but as lived experience. You begin stepping into your destiny without fear driving your decisions. Abundance stops feeling like something that you chase and it starts feeling like something that you allow. This is energetic balance. Conjunction. And I'm excited because I know that this is, if you're not here right now, you are stepping right into it. This is where our masculine and our feminine energy, they stop fighting, they cooperate. They dance, they make love. You get to move with clarity, with confidence, with authority, and without force. You get to receive what the universe has for you. And from here, I'm not going to say life gets easier, but I'm going to say it gets truer. And that's the moment that you realize it all makes sense. You weren't breaking down, you were being initiated. And initiations don't ask for comfort, initiations ask for courage. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. We are growing through it together so that we can glow through it together.